All right, people, I have returned. I'm here to bring you the truth about a fragrance, a shillfluencer brand fragrance. This fragrance here is Sospiro Vibrato. And this is the box right here in the presentation. I have the bottle right here. This bottle looks quite familiar. It reminds me of another shillfluencer brand. Wait a minute. What? Come on, man. Really? You're not even gonna hide it at this point. There's a lot of myths and half-truths that I'm gonna expose right now in this video. Let's get the main one out the way. Stop comparing this to Bulgari Tiger. Everything with grapefruit in it is not Bulgari Tiger, just like everything with pineapple in it isn't Credaventus. While we're at it, stop saying everything smells like bubblegum. Get off your lazy shillfluencer asses and go learn a thing or two before you start blathering about stuff you don't know about. If I see one more idiot talk about Bulgari Tiger and then pull out a decant, I'm gonna slap the taste out of their mouth. If you ain't got a bottle of Bulgari Tiger, shut the hell up. Another thing I've heard is that this is a clone of Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité. Can't burst that bubble. This is a clone of Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité, a $200 clone. Now, before you think I'm knocking this brand, people also say the same thing about Parfums de Marly, one of my favorite brands. Are they a clone house? Are they a very expensive clone house? Well, I like what they do with some familiar fragrances, and I like what Sospiro does with a very familiar fragrance, Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité. Here's another example of influencers do me a favor and slap yourself across the mouth. I was blown away by Sospiro Vibrato. If you have Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité or have even tried it and this blows you away, you're an idiot. They smell so close, at least in the beginning stages, that if you smell this and you're blown away, you're either that unintelligent or you're that much of a fraud. If you're familiar with Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité, you're not going to be blown away. Unless if you love clones, you might be blown away with just how much of an accurate clone this is, but you're not going to be blown away with like how much more of an impressive fragrance this is. But if you want some true honesty, if you want to say something that I and anybody with two brain cells to rub together would find believable, I would believe that you would prefer this over Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité. I don't. I kind of go back and forth because there are some subtle differences. I think the quality of Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité is so much higher than this. I think this is far more complex. I think in extreme hot weather, Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité is good pretty much all year long. I've worn this on a 106-degree day, and if you love beast mode fragrances, god damn, this thing doesn't push off the skin. It radiates, much like toxic radiation, and it does smell good. I don't mean toxic like that, but my god, this thing is just insanely beast mode. Not longevity, just the amount of projection. It's almost to the point of cloying, so I would be careful with the amount of sprays. Spray lighter, refresh later. L'Immensité is a much lighter, more aquatic, very subtle fragrance. This thing is a lot of white florals. The musks are heavier. The differences are subtle. This is very much like a Parfums de Marly fragrance where they might release a fragrance that's very much like Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce, but like, the niche version of that. That's what they're kind of doing with some fragrances. For instance, I have Tenor, which very much smells like Oud for Glory, Oud for Greatness, whatever the hell it's called. Personally, I would much rather have the Sospiro version of that than, I don't know who the hell makes Oud for Greatness. I don't know what that oud is for, if it's for greatness, if it's for glory, if it's to offend my nostrils with an overuse of saffron, I don't know. I don't like it, but I do like Sospiro's kind of twist on it. And since that seems to be a popular phrase among clones, like, it's not a clone, it's a twist. This actually is a twist on Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité that comes eerily close to the original. Just different enough to where you might want to own two with a warning. Big investment in owning both. If these were two $30 fragrances, $50 fragrances, easily not redundant at the price points these are at. Sample, sample, sample. But now you have some basic facts from somebody that's not trying to sell you a bottle, from somebody that's not in a circle of friendship with the CEO and the owners and the, inner workings of the company. Now you can make your own informed decision of what you want to buy, what you want to spend, what you want to try. And let me leave on this, note. If you're subscribed to a reviewer or an influencer who has smelled Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité, especially if they own Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité, and they came out on video and said how absolutely blown away when they smelled Sospiro Vibrato. I mean, they smell so similar, you should know at that point that you're watching a con artist, a liar. They don't respect you as a viewer, somebody that supports them. They don't respect their own audience. And what I want you to do is I want you to get a bag, put it on your hand. Then I want you to grab that influencer, and as you have a grip on that influencer, on that reviewer, you flip the bag inside out and cover them in the bag because they are dog doo-doo. And I want you to take that bag with the influencer stuffed in it, and I want you to go to a public park, maybe a dog park, preferably, and they have these like green garbage cans for the dog doo-doo that I call the influencers, and just drop that influencer in there and out of your subscription feed because they are scum. And don't just leave them out in the grass, people. You don't want nobody stepping in them.